Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has done it again. They have given us a fantastic wow factor with a new project called Epicon, which is in Saudi Arabia. It's supposed to be part of NEOM, and at the center of it we've got these two towers that are 225 and 275 meters tall. It looks kind of beautiful, but two big towers in the middle of absolutely nowhere means that they're there for only one purpose and one purpose only: wow factor. That's okay, maybe, but what we're seeing here is still very much an early concept, in the sense that if we look at these images over here, they show things that are not quite right. What do I mean by that? We've got like these massive cantilevers, and the structure of the whole building is somewhere over here. So when we have these kinds of cantilevers that are happening around these spaces, what that means is that all of this here, that can swivel up and down, forwards and backwards, because it's very thin, so you cannot make it very rigid. So all that is actually going to go. And we're going to be left with perhaps something that trims everything down to somewhere over here. We can span between the two buildings. I think that's okay. That might work because you have a structure here and we've got a structure on the other side. So we should be able to span between these two buildings. But all of these things over here with these massive cantilevers, that's going to be a hard sell, I have to say. So that's why this is early conceptual. At this stage, what we've seen from NEOM across the board is pretty conceptual. So I'm not too worried about that in regards to here. In terms of the design and the architecture, okay, so it kind of makes sense. You know, you have these like two massive hotels and you're putting them in there, and we've got some areas over here that are for people, which are observation decks. But fine, cantilever somewhat works. But look at this. This is crazy, right? We've got two massive towers and nothing across them. Maybe there's one more tower there and that's it. You've got desert. Maybe they'll put some planting on there and, you know, start to put in some kind of context with other buildings and, you know, make this kind of a center of an actual master plan instead of being two towers literally in the middle of the desert. Because that's quite shocking, right? So we've seen towers everywhere. And we do see these kinds of projects in various places, but usually when there are towers, you know, maybe we have a couple more towers, we have some kind of context, right? Think about Singapore, Hong Kong, the city of London, New York, and so on. Even in Lucerne, there are two big towers, but that's part of a big new master plan. It's part of a new city. So is this going to be a part of a city? Maybe we're just seeing the first part, but because it's so conceptual, then it makes me think that it is only going to be that. Why wouldn't they show more context around it? I love architecture and I love ideas that are out there. I really do. All of those projects potentially tilt the scales of what is buildable, what is achievable, and what not. What I do see as a bit problematic is the architectural impact of these kinds of projects, because there is no architecture, there is no urban design in this sense. It's two towers, at least from the visuals that we're seeing. Perhaps there's more coming up, but this is the first shocking factor, but then they soften the blow. I'm even a big fan of projects like these because they do tend to be highly divisive. Some people think that it's great that Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is challenging notions of designing, and other people are like, why in the world would you do that when you can feed all the hungry kids in the world? Or something along those lines, right? What I think is important for me to show to you is that there are some things in here that architecturally could perhaps work, but looking at the wider scale in the way that it is presented, it's still a little bit hard to swallow. And now with Saudi Arabia getting the 2034 World Cup bid, we're going to imagine a lot more crazy projects. The oil economy is not going to last forever, so they need to build an alternative form that drives the economy. It seems like tourist attractions are getting a big push from the kingdom. What do you think about this project? Let me know in the comments and see you next time.